Hi guys, my name is AJ, and it's great to have you back on AJ Budgeting. On my channel, I aim to be open and honest while still respecting my privacy. My goal is to cater to everyone with my content, and I create videos about budgeting, such as cash stuffing sessions for me or my husband's budget, making budgeting adjustments, unboxing items from small businesses I support, documenting my journey to becoming debt-free, monthly recaps, and showcasing products that I have available in my shop. And guys, I know it's been a minute. I've been talking about this nurse budget book for some time, and I'm just now sitting down and making a video of the book. So my apologies, and for anyone that is interested in it, the same day that I'm recording this is the same day it's going to go up. My YouTube post is going to be a little late. However, let's go ahead and get started. Let me make sure we are in frame. Okay guys, so this is the nurse budget guide. It is a perfect bind 96-page book that embodies all things nursing, from nursing puns to nursing challenges and whatnot. I just want to say for this book, the beauty of it is it has pretty much all of the baby steps from Dave Ramsey in there. Your emergency fund, your 3 to 6 month worth of expenses, paying off a debt, buying a house, and then the only thing I did not touch base on here is investing, because I myself don't even know nothing about investing. So I suggest YouTube University for that one, but everything else I do think I touch base on. So let's go ahead and get started with the flip through. So this is just an encouraging page, just wishing you a well done now that you are a nurse, regardless if it's an ADN or a BSN. This serves as a building block for your financial future and whatnot. But also, this book is not only just good for new grads, it's good for seasoned nurses as well. So in section 1, we have creating a monthly budget. So this book is literally step by step. It gives you all the tools and everything to create a budget. There is, I believe, 10 sections and a bonus section in here, but we're going to go through everything. So creating the monthly budget, we're going to go over 5 key tasks, like tracking your income, your expenses, listing out your essentials, your non-essentials, and consider using a budget rule. So tracking your income is basically setting up a monthly budget to monitor your income. And then what my recommendation is for this one is printing out your pay stubs every week so you can have a physical copy to look at. And then once you get used to checking them regularly, you can switch to viewing them digitally. Some hospitals, I know my hospital allows us to send over our paychecks during each pay period. So that's what I opted out for instead of printing them. And then tracking your expenses. This is important because you have to know like what you're spending and your take home is, because sometimes we just be swiping and not really paying attention to what we are buying. Listing out your essentials. I did provide 2 tables for both of these for you to list out your essentials and your non-essentials. Your essentials can be like your rent, your mortgage, lights, gas, like utilities, gas for your car, transportation, and some examples of non-essentials would be like eating out or like DoorDash. And I put a little pun in here because these expenditures add fun and excitement to our lives, embodying the idea you only live once, or YOLO. So these type of expenses will go there. And then consider using a budget rule. I did give you an example of the most common one is 50%, 50, 30, and 20. And that is basically 50% to necessities, 30% to non-essentials or wants, and then 20% to savings, debt repayment, or investments. And I gave you one to practice, and then I gave you one for your final. In reality, a lot of people are not on the 50-30-20 budget rule. I personally feel like it's 70-20-10, but that's just me. And then now we're going to get into section 2, which is setting up an emergency fund. And this is where all the fun happens. This is where the the savings challenge funds comes into effect. I'm always trying to make sure we are in frame because I want you guys to see everything that this book has to offer. So I go over some basics of setting up an emergency fund and how we want to get to $1,000 first, and then go to the 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And then just some encouragement, because sometimes you are only able to save, $50 or $100 each check towards your emergency fund, and that's okay. So on this page, we are going to list out our monthly expenses. You do have a couple slots on here to do that. If you need more slots, that's perfectly fine. You can always write it down here. And then on this book, the paper is very thick, so it's not going to bleed through. So you can use a pen or you can use a Sharpie, whatever you prefer. And then here we go into the savings. So we have code savings. This is designated to get you to that first $1,000 for your emergency fund. And this is all healthcare funds. So for code savings, you're going to save a total of $1,008, and each icon is going to be $24 each. Rapid response fund is all about helping you get to those 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. So each, emergency vehicle that's like skating away, you are going to put how much each of these are worth after you calculate how much it's going to be for you to have 1 month's worth of expenses. And what you're going to do is just do this icon for 1 month, and then you're going to repeat this several times until you get to 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. IV savings or instant victory savings is your first introduction to a small savings challenge, and this can go towards like your emergency fund or your emergency fund for like medical bills, car repairs, home upkeep, and like unexpected large expenses. This is kind of like your buffer money, I would say, and this is going to save you $540. Bedside budget boost is just to aim to reduce unnecessary costs and to enhance savings. What I mean by this is the little things that we do not think makes a big difference in our budget actually does. Like if you have excess subscriptions, that does put a strain on your budget basically. In some cases, especially if you do not realize this. So this one is after you get rid of those expenses, they're still going to be in your income, but you're going to add it, everything that you cancel, everything that you stop spending with, for the icon of the bedside budget boost icon. And then that's how much you're going to be saving per month, per check or whatever. Section 3 is all about paying off student loans strategically. And I do lay out some information for you when you get your emergency fund and you start building your 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Now we need to start tackling debt. I know a lot of people are straight out of high school into college, and I know it's like a big thing to basically blow like your first couple checks, but I just want to say don't do that. In a big sister way, because I am the oldest of my siblings, and I just want you to stay home. You don't need to move out yet, and redirect all your money to savings and paying off your student loan debt if you can. And then we just go over some things about understanding your loans, what types, the flexibility of it, and like the strategies for it. So I did make you a tracker right here for you to pay off your loan. So you're going to do your total debt, and then what you're going to do is calculate over here and just write it on these lines about how much that debt will be. And then as you are paying off that debt, you can color this in. So Nurses Night Shift Fund encourage you to save the extra income earned from overtime hours, whether if we choose to take them or they required. Sometimes they are going to ask you if you can come in and pick up, but if you are voluntarily do it, my challenge for you is just to save $43 from the extra money. And this is like you will save $1,505 from this challenge. Discharge Debt Challenge is all about eliminating those pesky debts, whether they're coming from student loans, credit cards, or auto loans. You're gonna save a total of $2,000 to help you reach your goals, and by the icons, it's going to be actually $2,016 for the icons, and this is just a person discharging a patient. God's Goals is a small little fun challenge that's just showing you that even small contributions can accumulate over time. And once you finish this challenge, you'll save a total of $450. Saving for retirement in section 4. This section, and I think the home section, is the longest, and you will see why. I wanted to set you up for success, but I'm also implementing these tools in my life as well. As I am now 30 years old, you'll see the recommendations. And in all honesty, last night I was having FOMO, because I realized all the dumb stuff I did in my 20s. And it was honestly just making me mad. So be better than me. And if you get to 30 like me and you realize those things, that's okay too. I just seen someone on Instagram. I have to figure out her name, and I'm gonna tag her profile on here. And she just made a video about things that she learned in her 30s that was just so encouraging to me, because everyone has their own journey and it's okay. So in retirement, I have saving for retirement. And even if you start with like small contributions, that is okay. Definitely try to max out your retirement or 401k. I do recommend the Roth, because it's after taxes and you're not going to get taxed on that again when you get to retirement age. And also, if your hospital has a match program, try to do enough so you match out the max. I know my hospital is a 5% match, and I currently do 10%, and then they match 5%. So now I am at 15% basically. But I'm only contributing 10%. So what should your percentage be for my age? So in your 20s, it's recommend that you save 10 to 15%. And then for your 30s, which is where I am at currently, is 15 to 20%. 40s is 20 to 25%. And 50 is 25 to 30%. And then an additional consideration should be, say, if you start contributing later in life, you may need to catch up. And that's definitely me, because by the age of 30, you're supposed to have 1 times your annual salary saved by 30. And in some people's cases like mine, that's not likely, especially if you move to different states or you're changing careers. And by your 40s, you should have 3 times your annual salary saved. And if you're behind, contribute more from each paycheck is crucial. But at the end of the day, do what you can afford, because society right now is expensive. And then I also was like, I personally do not want to be retiring at the age of 65, 67, or whatever rainbow stuff that they're trying to tell us. I would like to retire at the age of 59, 60 max. So I was like, what can I do to retire early? So I laid out the steps for you to retire at 59, 60. Even if you want to retire at like 62, you can still use this, okay? So you need to set a retirement goal. You need to determine how much you need, and then I put a rule for that determination, but you need to account for inflation. Number 2 is increase your savings rate. And this is, especially if you start early in your 20s, save 15%, try to max out everything every single year. In your 30s, increase it to 20, 40s, 25, and then in 50, max out all your retirement contributions as possible. And then this is your opportunity to play catch up because you are allowed the extra $7,500 in your 401k accounts and the extra $1,000 in your Roth IRA. And this is as of 2024. As the years change, this might go up, but for right now, this is current. Number 3, invest wisely. You want to make sure you're investing in the proper funds, especially with your Roth IRA accounts or your 401k accounts. I just talked to one of my coworkers about this because remember, I am not the best at investing, so don't quote me, but all of this information that is in this book, he approves of, which is very good to say because he's the type of person that his college fund for his kid is maxed out. He's just working so he can retire early because he already was doing everything that I had laid out in the book from the jump. So that should say something. And like, he's a real like financial guru guy, financial planner and everything. He knows all things finance. And he said this was really good information. And I only missed one thing. It's something about the nursing core for like paying back your loans and stuff like that, which I honestly did not know. But everything else in this book is valid. So number 4 is control expenses and lifestyle. Minimize lifestyle inflation, pay off debt, and live below your means. Just because your income increase does not mean that you need all the new toys. And that's something that I just learned. So it's okay. And then create additional income streams like side hustles or passive income, real estate, or dividend income. Number 6 is monitor and adjust your plan. Annual savings check every year, adjust your savings rate and financial goals, and adjust your contributions as needed to stay on track. Adjust your market conditions, early withdrawal strategies, especially if you're going to withdraw at the age of like 59. If you're not almost 60, you can incur penalties for that. But if you set aside money in a high yield savings for like house buying or for when you're going to retire early, if you start now, that money can build over time at like 3, 4, maybe 5% over the years, and compound interest is your friend. So you won't even have to worry about the retirement penalties until you can actually withdraw it. So example savings targets by age. So 30, aim to save 1 times your annual salary. 40, aim to have 3 to 5 times your annual salary. 50, aim to have 6 to 7 times your annual salary. And then by 57, aim to have at least 10 to 12 times your annual salary. And then number 7, plan for health care. Since you won't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid until age 65, consider budgeting for health insurance in your early retirement years. Look into options like healthcare savings account or private insurance. And then minimize taxes. So you want to minimize the withdrawals that you're going to have, and then also taxes on your properties and or cars. So basically, if you follow these steps and you start early, you can retire comfortably by the age of 59 or 60 or whatever age that you choose to. But this is a good retirement plan to follow to retire early. And then Nurses Payday Prep is a challenge to aim to help us develop habit of setting aside a little extra money for retirement with each paycheck. So this challenge is divided into 2 separate challenges that are one basically. So if you do the red and orange payday, that's $100. But if you do the blue and yellow payday, that's $50. If you just do one single, like if you do all the blue and yellows, that's fine. If you do all the red and oranges, that's fine. But if you do everything, that's also fine. That's why the total saved is blank. It's whatever you would like to do. And then Nurses Nurse Egg Fund aims to help us managing some medical expenses. This is money that you're going to be saving in a high yield savings account. So when it's time for those payments for medical expenses and whatnot, during your early retirement years, it's going to be in that account for years, building interest. Flo's Fund is a celebration of Florence Nightingale, who was the pioneer of modern nursing, this is just a little challenge that's showing you that little numbers can add up, and you can use this towards your medical fund for retirement or whatever you would choose, and this saves $343. Okay. Again, guys, I'm always making sure we're in frame because I want you guys to see this book in its entirety, because I really do think it's a good book, and I think a lot of people out there would be useful, or what's the word? It'll be useful for a lot of people to have this, especially like new grads, even seasoned nurses. But I think this is something that if you do like this book, that you should invest in. I only have a limited amount of copies for this first order that I did. And I think it's great material. I already had people at work buy the book. I already sold some books. So that's like speaking for itself. So section 5 is planning for big goals. And these are like short-term, long-term goals. So I gave you some examples of short-term goals, like saving for vacation, buying a new car, upgrading your living situation. Some long-term goals are buying a house, furthering your education, or building long-term wealth. I did explain the idea of sinking funds and what they can be used for, because some people get confused on sinking funds and what they can be used for. So I gave you some examples, but you can create sinking funds for whatever you want, in all honesty. Prescription for Pennies focuses on saving small amounts of money rather than collecting pennies. It's about setting aside all of our $5 bills. This is my version of a $5 challenge. And at the end of this, you'll save $385. Vitals of Victory focuses on our stable patients, the ones with the reassuring vitals that we appreciate so much. This approach to savings for this will be unique as we will be concentrating on the maps we observed in our patients. Each vital sign monitor displays a different map number, and that is what we'll be tracking and saving. So MAP is the main arterial pressure. For anyone that is watching this video that is not in the healthcare field, that's what it means. It's basically the pressure of your heart, that how the heart is pumping basically, and we love to see MAPs over 65. In some cases they are under 65 or they are over 100, and these MAPs are actually real MAPs from some of the vitals that I have gotten at work. So this is what you're going to be saving, and at the end of this challenge you'll have $3,490 saved. And then Chart Your Change is just a $10 challenge, my version of it. It's just focusing on like saving $10 bills every payday if you are able to, and this saves you a total of $660. Now into the bonus section. This is when we take sections 1 through 5 and put it to pen and paper basically. So it's going to be building our budget using budget tools. This is your first introduction, and I explained like how you can use a budget tool, and I gave you an example, and I have like a little key up here as well. This is just like a basic one. When I started off budgeting, I used a notebook. You don't have to use a notebook, but if that is easier for you, don't knock it till you try it basically, especially until you get the hang of things and whatnot. So this is my example of how I did it for you guys. Basically what you would do is for the month, you will list out your paychecks up here, which is your fixed income. And then you have the amount for your rent and stuff that you budgeted, what you actually used, and what was left over saved or when you went negative. So the idea of this is doing a zero-based budget, and whatever you have left over, you're going to add this to savings challenges. Prioritize your bills first before your savings. That's my biggest advice to you. Pay your bills first, then do savings. You don't have to do savings and neglect your bills. Bills first, necessities before wants. And then I give you, I believe it's 3 months worth of paychecks. So I give you a monthly budget spread, and I give you 2 paycheck budget breakdowns per month, because on average a nurse is paid bi-weekly. Yes, some hospitals will have those magic months where you'll have 3 paychecks, but I don't know your pay schedule, so I didn't want to input extra ones and then you not use them. So you have 3 months worth of monthly budget paychecks, because I am a firm believer that it takes about 21 days to build a habit. And if you're doing this consistently for 90 days, you should already have that habit instilled in you. Now, for this challenge is the Bandage Your Budget Challenge. It's designed for those days where you don't feel like cooking and you want to go out to eat. So this is just like a budget for just out to eat, for like quick dining options, fast food, DoorDash, or whatever. I'm not saying that you can't do those things. It's just that you have to budget for those things. And that's what budgeting is all about. It's not about limiting, your income or your desires or wants and stuff like that. Like someone said on Instagram, take the vacation. People think budgeting is about depriving yourself about the things that you love to do in life, but that's not what it is. That's a false reality of budgeting. You can accomplish everything your heart's desire. You are just budgeting for it. You're being proactive and saving instead of reactive. That's it. Shift Change Challenge is like my version of a $20 challenge. And you're just putting $20 aside each time you complete a schedule shift. Stethoscope stack is just another $10 challenge to help you save money for those special items and treats that you desire, especially if somebody steals your stethoscope and it was like $300. That happens, if you believe it or not. So get a title tag for your stethoscope that's a tracker, and put your name on it somewhere, because people are kleptos. So just be mindful of that. Section 6 is budgeting for licenses, continuing education, and insurance. So this section, at least this page, you should read. And I only say that because you are seeing all these instances on TikTok, the news and everything, where these nurses are getting charged. And it's crazy, but at the end of the day, you need to protect yourself. My best advice for you is that the hospital that you work for is a business and establishment, and their name and reputation means more than you. If I'm the first person to tell you that, I am so sorry, but this is the reality of healthcare and when you work for a business. At the end of the day, you are replaceable, and the sooner that we realize that, the more proactive we can be, especially with protecting our licenses that we worked so hard for. So my recommendation for you is to, 1, chart as if you might be called to court. Your license deserves protection. And also get your own professional liability insurance, because this is going to provide an extra layer of protection for your license during those unexpected situations. It may be a patient that you had a year ago and they're going back into your chart and why did you chart this? Why did you chart that? How are you supposed to remember stuff that happened a year ago or more? Also, another word of advice, do not copy and paste. Manually chart everything. Do not do that. They can see that. So if you don't take anything else from this video or this book, that is that. That is my key. So in this section, we do have some savings as well. We have the ICU savings, which is the pun on the ICU. This is a build your own challenge when you can save for, those liability insurance claims or life insurance premiums. This is what this is for. And then Suture Your Savings is to adjust to managing our budget by saving in advance for continuing education courses or CEUs, license renewal, or because these are kind of costly. So this is a assisting budget, and it's going to save you $756 by the end. Section 7 is managing housing costs. I think this one is probably another long section in this book for a good reason. So I do have an introduction of everything that realistically housing costs should only account for 25 to 30% of your take-home pay. This is kind of like not fallible for California or New York or like states where there's a high cost of living. But in these cases, you might want to consider just staying at home for a little bit, building up a bigger down payment for a house. That way, when you do move, you can stay within your budget and within your means and not live paycheck to paycheck. So I do have some examples of how you can manage housing costs. You can explore employer housing benefits, consider travel nursing, but this does have a requirement of 2 to 3 years of experience. Live with roommates, look for affordable housing options, reallocate to a more affordable area, use financial assistance programs, budget and save strategically, take advantage of tax deductions, rent out extra space, and then utilize side gigs or overtime. Hospital room. This is a budget that focuses on moving costs, whether you're heading to your own apartment or sharing a space with a roommate. While these expenses can add up like hospital bills, the great news is that unlike hospital rooms, we have the freedom to decorate and personalize our new homes, whether that's apartment or a house. So each icon is $150, and when you're done with this challenge, you'll save $7,350. And this is a good challenge for when you're ready to move out. You have all the money that you needed for your security deposit to set up your room and or your apartment. And if you need extra, just repeat this until you need have everything that you need, basically. House buying prep. For the people that are interested in buying houses, these are some of the things and terms that you should know. Mortgage loan terms, like the loan types and down payments, the mortgage loan type and minimum credit score, and DTI, which is debt to income ratio, and then the rate term. So you have a fixed mortgage rate and you have an adjustable mortgage rate, which is also known as an ARM rate. And then PMI is a private mortgage insurance. You only do that if you do anything less than 20%, and that's typically for a FHA loan. And then again, with house buying prep, if you are applying for a mortgage and you get denied, these are some of the common reasons, but also they are required to disclose to you the reason why you were denied. So I have listed out some of the common reasons and whatnot. I know when I was buying my house 2 years ago, the biggest ones for us was job instability, because I had moved from Michigan to California and they don't like that. So I had to spend like 3 weeks trying to explain the gap in my employment. And then debt to income, they really look at your car notes. So I had to refinance my old car to get the payment lower. And then patience pockets is all about saving for a house. And sometimes that may be daunting, but the good news is that we can achieve those long-term dreams of managing funds we earn from our patience. This is my favorite one, actually, because it's not about taking money directly from them. It's a career in healthcare provides the financial stability needed to become a homeowner. This is still true even in today's age. There's a nursing shortage. However, like I said, at the end of the day, you are replaceable. So if you feel as if your job is in jeopardy, just already start being on the lookout so that you can go to another job before things flip. And this will save you $4,900, almost $5,000. Doctor's Orders Fund is aimed to accumulate a down payment for your house whether that's 3.5 to 20%. Each icon is going to equal your specified amount to the total saved. Section 8 is limiting lifestyle inflation. This is about basically, because you earn more money does not mean that you need to spend more or get like the nicest car and whatever. But it's all about crafting a budget to help you obtain those goals or those wants that you need. So on-call cash focusing on for those designer goods that you want, whether it be like a car, a bag, or whatever that you want. This is going to save you $5,500. I know some of you guys love like a good Louis, Gucci, Christian Dior, but it's okay, just save for it. And then thorough savings resolve around maintaining a pristine, untouched reserve of cash. Kind of like a stir environment when you're doing like a bedside procedure. The goal of this cash is to accumulate until you reach the amount needed for that desire or experience. Keep in mind, no spending until it's completely funded. You can use this to save for a vacation, a bag, a new car, or whatever you want. This is a build your own. Last one for this section is the scrub-a-dub dollars, and this is focusing on setting aside money for new work gear like scrubs, shears, comfortable shoes, a new stethoscope and whatnot, because working, those things wear out pretty quickly. So this is a fund that helps you save $1,250. Section 9 is all about budgeting for health and wellness. And we're going to be going over like some crucial things about like health insurance and stuff like that. So I did have laid out, the types of healthcare insurance plans for you, key terms to understand, in-network versus out-of-network, prescription drug coverage, preventative care, employer versus individual plans, health insurance marketplace, special enrollment periods, understanding networking cost, and supplemental insurance. And then luckily for me, I did not have to set up my own insurance because I got married at the age of 24. So I didn't have to go through this process. However, I know everyone is not in my predicament where they don't have to navigate this. So I wanted to make it easier for you. And I literally laid it out how you need to set up your insurance plan. I laid out all the things that they try to explain in like 50 plus pages that no one ever wants to read, because why are you not condensing it and making it easier to read? So it's just basically to assess your health needs, understand your budget, review the plan network, evaluate prescription drug coverage, choose your plan type, preventative and wellness services, life changes and flexibility, compare plans thoroughly, emergency and out of care coverage, additional coverage, utilize available resources, and then always read the fine print. And then for this challenge is a $25 challenge. And this is like our ER fund or earning rewards. It's just a treat yourself challenge, especially when you reach a goal. This is like a prize to you, basically. This is what this fund is, and you're going to save $1,350. Critical care cash is all about creating a safety net for those essential expenses that can catch us off guard, like unplanned hospital visit, medical bills, or procedure. And that can also be like for cars too, like car maintenance and whatever. So this is a $60 challenge that's going to be like your emergency fund for unexpected expenses. Round of Riches is a $15 challenge, just aiming to boost whatever savings challenge that you are working on. Once this is completed, you can add it directly towards that savings challenge and repeat as necessary. And you'll save $720 with this challenge. And then VTech Savings Challenge, this is my favorite one. Again, if you're not in the healthcare field, VTAC is a rhythm where your heart is supposed to go like this, but your heart's doing this, it's just shaking, it's not pumping. So it's basically like a code blue and then whatever. Okay, so this is inspired by VTAC, which is ventricular tachycardia, giving it a fun nurse-themed twist to focus on building financial wealth. And I have it laid out how this works. So V is for value. You're going to assign each week a value for the challenge. T is for time. You're going to choose a duration. The ACH is for accountability and checkups. And this is where you're going to do your weekly checkups, like on Fridays or whatever. And then add additional bonus for cold blue days. Anytime you work an extra shift, skip takeout, or find unexpected savings. Save the extra $10 or more you find as a code blue cash boost. And then lastly, track your rhythm. Create a savings tracker, heart shaped like a monitor strip, to monitor each successful week. And this is like an interactive one. So I would like for you to take this challenge and actually create like an EKG strip. And with each amount that you save, you're basically making a heart rhythm. You get it? Love it. So by the end of this, if you do what is suggested, you will save $210 or more with bonuses, or whatever you prefer, you'll save more. And then number 10 is be cautious with credit cards. It's just letting you know that credit cards is not free cash. You do have to pay it back. And then ways to build your credit, like pay your bills on time, keep credit utilization low, pay in full whenever possible, use your card regularly, do not open too many cards at once, and monitor your credit report. Also, to understand your statement and statement balance, I do have these, some recommendations, and then example how it works. I do have an example also for this, because a lot of people, including me still, I get it confused on the statement balance and the closing of the statement date. But this did help me figure that out more easily. And Pulse of Prosperity, this is at work, we are required to do pulse checks. And what I would like for us to do is the number of pulse checks that we do at work, we add 10, and that's how much we save. Scar Pocket Savings is all about those extra materials that we take home unknowingly. So whatever the amount that you take home that's sitting in your car after a shift, you count those amounts, and that's how much you saved. And it's just $1 per each item. Nos Dollars is an $8 challenge, which is like a small savings challenge that aims to save like small amounts, which you can significantly accumulate over time. Like I keep saying, small numbers add up, and this is a quick little $400 challenge to help you do so. And that is the end of the book. So if you do all the challenges in this book that are numbered, you'll save more than $30,000. There is the potential to save more than $30,000, and that's because you do have your own build your own challenges in there. But I think, maybe I'm biased, this is probably like the best budget book that I have ever done. It's very thorough. It's very covering every single topic and making sure you're set up for success. And like I said, this is available on my Etsy shop. The link is going to be in my bio, or the description, I should say, but it's also in my bio on my YouTube page. I do have limited quantities of this available in stock right now. If you do order and it's not in stock, I do have the pre-order shipping still on my Etsy website. So if I do run out of my in-stock books, you will still get a book. It will just be on the next shipment. But if you do like this video, go ahead and share it with a friend, and then tag any nursing creators down below so they can check it out. But as always, guys, happy savings.